Hey everybody, it's Will, just in time prepping. How's everybody doing this morning? Get my microphone on just a second. I almost forgot. So you guys can hear me. Anyway, we finished that other series up and I just wanted to get into this new part here so everybody would still have everything fresh on their mind. I'm kind of getting everything situated here, so hold on. I always have to have me a piece of paper so I can take notes and stuff. I want to thank everybody that showed up to the live stream yesterday. We had a pretty big crowd. I was looking at my notes here and looks like we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had like 30 people, so I'm hoping next week we do a little bit better. And just so you guys know that I write your names down on that Wednesday live stream so that I know who's there, because on Saturday night evening when I do that live stream at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I will do a drawing on who was there on Wednesday, and whoever's name is drawn will win something, a prize of some sort. The way I have it set up is you can sit there and we can just have a little talk. Some days we may have a topic and some days we may not, but if you donate to my PayPal, then you usually get a coffee mug or a t-shirt or something like that. And if you don't give anything, that's fine too, but you'll probably only end up getting one of my stickers. So anyway, that's just so that you know, if you super chat me, YouTube takes 30% of that. It's terrible, but that's why I'd rather you use PayPal. But anyway, if you use a super chat, you'll get something also a little bit better than a sticker. But PayPal is where I really want to get it, so because PayPal only takes 5%, YouTube takes 30%. Do the math. So anyway, Wednesdays at noon Mountain Standard Time is when I'm going to have that chat, and it's going to be every Wednesday, and then we're going to draw every Saturday evening. It's kind of balances out. That gives me a couple of days to get everything put together for the drawing. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. And so where I want to go after doing that series is I want to talk about security in a SHTF situation, because yeah, security kind of goes down. You know, the cops are gonna probably take care of you guys for a couple of weeks, but after that they're going to kind of lose faith, and they'll end up going home to take care of their own family and stuff. So I kind of want to touch on security today. So hold on, I get my notes pulled up here. And you know, I don't care. I've said it before in other videos, is I don't care try to think of the right word here. I don't care how big the threat is for SHTF situation, but unless you're prepared, it's really not going to matter. So they say that people will stay in their homes and expect the government to take care of them, you know. But they're going to, after a few days, they're going to forget all about that, because they're going to find out nobody's really going to come and help them. So when they start running out of food and stuff, they're going to start to realize that no one's really going to come in and save them. So even the friendly guy next door, he's probably going to become dangerous, because he's going to want to be able to take care of his family and children. So he may want to come and take what you have. So that's why I'm trying to tell you guys that even if it's not like a SHTF situation, it could be a disaster also. But the authorities are going to be so busy taking care of the disaster that they're really not going to come take care of you guys. They're going to expect you to be prepared, so to speak. So the disaster is going to empty all the grocery store shelves out in just a matter of hours, actually. And you'll still need to watch out for the opportunist, which is probably going to be the criminals. Well, we could use like Venezuela as an example. The economy deteriorated so much that the kidnap and the murder rates just skyrocketed there. So when the next recession or depression begins, it'll be very bad, considering that we're already overdue for one, and considering the average person never really fully recovered from the last recession. So that means that crime will probably skyrocket all over the world, not just in our area. So unless you happen to be the Duke of Ellington or anything like that, and you live in a fortified castle, you'll probably be able to put some effort into securing your home from invaders, but most of us are not going to be that well off. So an SHTF scenario will drastically widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And if people suspect that you're one of the haves, guess what? You'll need to have multiple security measures in place just in order to repel them. So prepare for the worst is what I've always been telling you guys. And we're going to kind of go over some stuff that maybe you could do to prepare with security measures. So the first thing is you'd want to probably, look for a safe place to live. They're saying that out in the country, away from the city is probably not going to be the safest place to live, because criminals go out there and they'll be able to invade your space easier unless you're in a group of some sort of MAG. And we know that MAG stands for multiple aid groups. So unless you're in a MAG, living out in the country really isn't going to be a safe place for you to be. But inside a big city is not the safest place either. So they're saying probably out in the suburbs would be better, because this goes back to when I did that video not very long ago, just last week I believe it was, or maybe the week before, that you want to try to depend on your neighbors as much as possible. Remember how we kind of discussed that you should try to bring your neighbors closer into you. Remember, we did that on the food stuff, how to get the food storage and buy in bulk and all that stuff, and gradually get your neighbors to buy into everybody sticking together so that you'll be safe. The security would be greater. So it makes sense to flee the city during the worst cause scenario, but during a long-term disaster like a depression or a recession, you're actually safer in places where your neighbors are close enough to hear you calling for help. So that comes back to where I was telling you a couple of weeks ago about trying to get your neighbors to buy into creating like a co-op so that everybody can take care of themselves. So you should also look for a place that is difficult to break into. So avoid houses with large windows, sliding glass doors. They're just too easy to get through. They'll break the glass out to get in. So they're just too easy to get in. So if you can afford an apartment, remember that the second and third floor apartments are much less likely to be broken into, because criminals won't be able to get in quickly enough, because you'll be up high in the air. So also what you want to try to do is you want to try to upgrade your fence. If you live in a house or a home and it has a fence around, you want to make sure that your fence is going to be high enough, at least 7 feet high, so that criminals still they're still going to find a way past it, but you want to make it harder for them to get past. So a fence is a fantastic deterrent. If you keep dangerous people off your property altogether, you'll probably even have to put your home security measures to the test. So if you don't have a fence, you need to build one. And if you have one, you need to upgrade it. A simple privacy fence can be reinforced quite a bit. Wooden posts can be changed to steel posts, and wooden slats can be covered with corrugated tin. And of course, then there's always barbed wire, and the razor wire can be installed on top. But in addition to the height of the fence, it can be increased, and the gates can be strengthened with steel posts and corrugated steel. And if you live within the city limits, check your regulations to find out what your fence heights can really be. Another good idea might be is to get motion detector lights. You know, they make those lights that fit on the outside of your homes. They're usually floodlights, and even if a car drives by, they come on. So it kind of deters people if you have those motion lights in place. So if you're going to be like on a power outage, you want to make sure that those lights are hooked into some sort of battery backup system, or be on solar power. So all these things that I'm mentioning, they're all pretty inexpensive nowadays. You know, even if you don't have very much money, you can still get the items fairly easily and cheaply. So another thing is to be defensive with your landscape. You can use shrubs and trees to your advantage when you're planting your landscape. Thorny bushes such as blackberry bushes are a great thing to have in front of your windows, and they're also added bonus because they have delicious berries on them. So if you strike a balance, however, the bushes and the shrubs can also be a concealment, and it would be hard for your invaders to be able to see inside your home. So all these things are coming into play as a security measure. So as for the fence, plant a thorny vine such as smilex. That's what my notes say. I don't know. I should have looked it up. Smilex rotundifolia. It's also known as a greenbrier. So it will quickly grow up your fence and cling to it. So you can plant it along the bottom, and in a couple of years it'll crawl up it like an ivy, and then it'll kind of walk across the top of the fence. And it's kind of thorny stuff, so it would be a good deterrent if somebody was trying to come over your fence. See, another way is to reinforce your doors. You know, most doors in homes, they have the wooden door frame around them, you know. A good thing to do would be to replace that wooden door frame with a steel door frame. And the same with your doors. You know, most homes nowadays, even if you pay big bucks for them, they come with a hollow core wooden door on them, and you may want to change that wooden door to a steel door. And that should probably be one of your top priorities, because it's real easy for the bad guys to kick the doors in, especially with that wooden door frame around it. So that would be one of your top priorities. If you can't afford that, my suggestion is to put in brackets on each side of the door on the inside, and put like a 2x4 across it. So if they were to go and push against it, it's not going to give in. So we talked about the metal frames and the steel doors. We can also talk about steel conduit. You could take the metal frame or door frame, or the door a little bit further, and you can use steel conduit. And you could use that, like I told you, across the door frame. You could put little brackets in. You get, some have like the little L shape to them, where you can put it in a 2x4 in, or you could even put some brackets in that had holes in them, and then you could just run a steel conduit through it and reinforce your door that way. But all these things are something that you need to check with your city to make sure that it's within code. If it's not, if you're not bragging about it, I wouldn't even worry about it, really. That's my opinion. I'm not going to tell you to go out and break the law or anything. Another good thing that you could consider doing is putting in an extra deadbolt. Most homes come with those deadbolts in them, but it doesn't hurt to put in a little bit higher grade deadbolt in addition to what you already have. So you can lock the door handle, you can put set the deadbolt, but you can also buy a better deadbolt and put it in also. So you can see the levels of security that we're doing here. So you want to go into the windows, and you want to strengthen your windows. The bad guys know how to throw things through the door, windows and gain entry through there. So what you may want to consider there is maybe putting up security bars, or steel bars. And some of them can look pretty terrible from the outside, but some of them also, what they're doing is they're making them so that they look nicer these days. They're sort of like an ornamental iron. And then another thing to consider on your windows is maybe instead of using glass on them, use plexiglass or something like that. It still looks like glass, but it's a little bit better. When you throw something against it, it bounces off. It doesn't go through. Also, something like dowel rods, windows like doors are still at their weaknesses, so if they can be unlocked, so you want to put a piece of doweling across the top of it, side to side, so it catches inside the tracks, so that if they lift up, they can't be lifted up. They can slide something in between the windows and unlock the window, but if you have that doweling across there on the window or even your sliding door, then it deters them from being able to slip that lock and open in the window or the door. These are all common sense stuff. You guys probably know all this stuff already, but it's just something that you can stop and think about, You just never know. Another thing that you could think about is maybe getting an alarm. I'm not saying to get one of those high-priced alarm systems that they sell. GE has them. What's that new one? Ventus or Ventax or something like that. But you can buy inexpensive alarms yourself offline. Amazon has a door jamb that you can put underneath your door, and if they get it open, the door jamb has an alarm on it and it'll sound off for you. So you kind of know when somebody's coming through your door that you don't have a plan for. So they have those door stops. They also have window alarms. You can buy those at Walmart, Amazon, anywhere like that. You can screw them right into the windows yourself. When they have magnets in them, so that when they go past the magnet, then the alarm goes off. Those are inexpensive. They start out like at $7 and go up depending on how much money you want to spend on them. So another good thing to think about is if the bad guys were to get in your house, what are you going to do to protect your family? So another good thing to think about is perhaps building yourself a safe room. And that's not saying that you have to build a tunnel underground or anything like that. You could use one of your rooms, or build a room that is concealed that nobody knows about, that you have some foodstuffs and water and whatnot in, so that you could seal yourself up and nobody knows you're there, and they could come in and they could take what they want and leave, and not even know you're there if you stay quiet, you know. So consider a safe room. And, you know, you could actually do it, you know, the newer houses have crawl spaces that you can get in from inside the house, you know. You could take that door out and you could make a concealment door and have foodstuffs and stuff to keep you going for a couple of days to make sure that you're going to be safe. Also, the crawl space above the ceiling, you could make that into a safe room as well, you know, and have stuff up there to munch on and whatnot. Keep you safe, keep your family safe, you know. You could put in a fake ceiling so that they don't know you're even there, you know. I was looking online the other day. They have safe rooms now that you just pull a book out and the door opens, you know. They pretty elaborate, some of them are. And they weren't really that expensive. Some of them were like only a couple of $1,000, because all they're doing is putting in a door that's hydraulic or whatever, you know, electric. So that's something to think about, okay? Another good thing to think about is maybe putting in a decoy safe. You know, keep your valuables in your house. If you're like most people, they have safes in their home and they keep the valuables in there in case the grid goes down or whatever. Important paperwork and stuff like that. You could put a fake safe like in the wall in your bedroom or in the closet or something, and if the bad guy were to find it, they would only find stuff that looks like it's important. It's not really important, but they think it is, and they'll grab it and go because they're in a hurry. They're not going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's real and what's not. You could put a little bit of money in there, maybe a couple of silver coins or some gold coins or whatever, and that way they'll just grab and run, you know, and then you can have the real safe concealed into a very concealable spot where you keep all your important stuff at. So that's something that you can think about, you know. Another thing you can think about is dogs, canines. They're saying that you could have even ankle biters are going to deter the bad guy, you know. They'll make enough noise to scare them, you know, because they'll think that they're going to alert your neighbors or whatever. So maybe canines. And so they're saying that some of the canines they mentioned are like German Shepherds or Rottweilers, and there's other breeds, but ankle biters, they're saying, is they make a lot of noise, you know. They yap, 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 and the bad guys may feel that if they yap enough, then it would be like an alarm that would alert your neighbors to something going on. And then I'm going to say the last thing that you could consider is getting a gun. And a lot of people don't like them, but you know, you could have like a Mossberg shotgun leaned up against in the corner of the closet or whatever for protection, or you could consider getting an AR-15 or something like that. Like you guys know, I carry a 9mm with me all over the place, and so you know, it's just a way of taking care of yourself and your family. So we've gone over a few things that you can do for security to take care of you, your home, and your family. And these are just things I want you to think about, you know, because these could all happen in a blink of an eye. A disaster, hurricane, tornado, whatever, you know. The authorities are going to be so busy taking care of the disaster, they're not going to have time to take care of each and every one in their city or their town, you know. So that's what I brought for you guys for today, is the security. So I hope you got something out of it. Remember that I can't do any of this stuff without you guys. So there is a link to donate to my cause in the description down below. Also, you can leave some comments down there if you think I forgot anything. or we can discuss anything that you think may be important to what this topic is today. So I want to thank you guys for coming by, and remember that we're going to have a drawing on Saturday after evening. Saturday evening. I got lost there for a minute. When I do my live stream on Saturday evening, we'll do a drawing for yesterday's live stream during the lunch hour. So Wednesdays we do the noon to 3 live stream, a 3-hour one. Trust me, next time I'm going to sit in a better chair, and then we'll do the drawing on Saturday evening. So that's all I have for you today. Remember to leave a comment down below, smash that like button, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed yet, push that subscribe button. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys tomorrow.